was a rumble in the jungle. Once I heard Dad was outside again counting birds, and Mama plugged in a nightlight, and I saw the queen of the world. Mama plugged in the nightlight.
Welcome back to the Golden Hour Birth Podcast with Liz and Natalie. In our last episode, we heard Alissa tell her birth story. Alissa Alter, also known as the Amy Poehler of vaginas, joined us to tell us all about her birth and how it shaped her journey to working as a women's health expert and motherhood advocate. If you haven't listened to last week's episode, do yourself a favor and go give it a listen. Alissa's story is not one to be missed. This is part 2 of the episode where we do a deep dive into all things postpartum. So we'll just jump right back in. Enjoy.
And you got more routine checkups after your delivery?
I did. My OB, she's awesome. I love her. I was texting with her, and then I went back 1 week postpartum, which was also like, it was great because I was constantly hearing that I was healing really well. Good. And I needed that in every way. Yeah. But it was also really hard because I looked at my husband and I was like, I can't walk a block. Like, how am I'm getting in a car? Like, what if we hit a bump? Like, how am I getting there? And so the whole thing, I took a car, and it's like I left myself 20 minutes to get downstairs. I was like, I don't know. What if I need a break? What if I have to lie down in the elevator? I don't know. And Jeremy was like, should I bring the baby? And I was like, listen, dude, you have to figure out your own fucking logistics, but he's going to need to be fed in 45 minutes. So this is where my boobs will be. He pushed the stroller and met me there. It was a whole thing. But I went back 1 week postpartum. I think I went back week 1, 2, and 3. And then I went back, my OB was like, I definitely want to see you weeks 1 and 2. And then you can decide if you want to come back the 3rd week. And I was like, yeah. And then there was one point where I called and I was like, I need to be seen today. I was like, there are one of 3 things happening. Either I popped a stitch, the swelling is changing, and so my butt feels different, or my rectum is falling out. I have my fingers crossed the option is B, and that this is a sign of healing and things just feel different, but I'm going to need confirmation because I am not looking. I am not emotionally prepared to look at that yet. I am hanging on by a thread. So then I went in and it was confirmed that the swelling was going down. And that was a great appointment. That one was really, that morale was high.
That's good. They don't tell you about the itchiness, when your stitches start, all that stuff. And you're just what's going on down there? I didn't want to.
But then when you think about it though, and this is the work that I do, with pelvic floor stuff, it's these are muscles. Think about if you got sometimes when you get a mole removed, on your arm, they have to really cut it out and you get a couple stitches, right? Or you remember you're a kid and you fall and scrape. We have kids, they scrape things, right? And then there's a scab and it's itchy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? Or if you fall so hard, you get a scab, it's sore in the surrounding area that was not injured, but is nearby because there's fluid and whatever and bruising. These are muscles and skin. They also tend to have there's a lot of nerves. So you feel it even more, but the healing process is the healing process. And that's something that I felt really grateful in this horrible situation, having so much information, because it empowered me to go to my doctor and say, or is the swelling changing and I'm feeling something different? And then when I started, when I started pelvic floor PT, I also my right My tear was on the right side, and my right hip is my special hip. And that's from a chorus line. And I was feeling my hip like all jacked up, and like my right inner thigh was like really insanely tight in a way that is like not my body. And when I saw the PT, I was like, I have a feeling this is all related to my tear. Like I'm feeling this, and I think that this side might be pulling on. And I like said stuff. And then when she examined me, she's like, that's what's happening. She was like, and also this, and it's coming from like if we loosen the scar tissue or whatever. But my knowledge of my body and what my normal is allowed me to then articulate, this is not my normal. So you can't look at me and say everything's fine. You say, okay, medically there's like not an issue, but I'm actually not fine because this is not normal. So what is this? We need more answers.
Yeah.
And that's something I tell everyone, whether you're a client of mine, a friend, not anyone, everyone, do yourself a solid and look at your vulva with a mirror. Look at your anatomy. Again, I was not ready to do this at like 2 weeks postpartum, but I did decide that before my 6-week check, right? Because they were like, your stitches will be healed. You will be, again, like medically, clinically healed by then. And I had enough check-ins to know that like there hadn't been any complications thus far. So I was like, I'm going to go look, because this way I can ask specific questions if I have them. And also, if I freak the fuck out, they're going to give me a pill for that, or like commit me or get me to the ER. Like I will be in the doctor's office, and that is a safe place. And I couldn't believe it. I couldn't see the scar. There was no bruising. I could see that, like, I couldn't actually see the scar, but I could see that, like, the skin was different, that, like, something had happened. And I was like, could be expected. And then I did have, like, a couple questions, because I was like, oh, my God, I have prolapse. My organs are falling out. That's what that is. And I went in, I was like, what's that? And she was like, this looks like a perfectly, like, you are right on track. This is a 6-week postpartum vagina. Remember, it'll take a little more time for like the muscles to whatever. And I was like, no. What is that? That thing I see. And she was like, that's your rectum. I was like, what? I was like, so it's falling out. And she was like, no. And she explained, and I'm saying this for other people's benefit too, is that like, obviously, right, a whole person came out of there, right? Like things are more open so you can see everything. And if you look this up on Google, like your rectum is right next to your vagina. It is right there. So also like, you're welcome. Now you know that. Okay. And if you do have any sort of prolapse postpartum, especially rectocele, like a rectal prolapse, if you have to poop, like if there's poop in there, you might feel some heaviness in your vagina, and it's because your rectum is right there. Right there.
Look at those anatomy figures.
Take a look at those pictures and here's the thing, and trust them. Those pictures are not lying to you. It's right there. Right there. But yeah, and then I did pelvic floor PT postpartum, which I also felt, again, I felt really lucky to know that it existed. I already knew of good offices that had good reputations, not far from me, that I would be able to go to. I could bring the baby if I needed to. The thing that sucks is that a lot of that, I mean, it's changing, which is great, but like a lot of that stuff's not covered by insurance. And so, you know, it is not lost on me. Like, I am so grateful that I'm able to pay for it and get the care that I needed. And like, really, like, from that birth experience, though, like my recovery has required pelvic floor PT. I see a therapist. I started working with a psychiatrist just to make sure, because I went on Zoloft and I then still wasn't sleeping. So when needed, I have a prescription to help me sleep. I also have for like more acute panic attacks from the PTSD, a prescription for Klonopin if I need it, and to like check in and make sure that my everything's safe and good and balanced. And I did acupuncture and massages, and I tried this technique called TRE, which is trauma and tension release exercises. I've done Reiki. I've done it's because it really fucked me up that I was like, yeah, bring on a crystal. Like if nothing else, like if that, then 45 minutes of essentially meditation, right? And just like calming energy is going to help me feel better. I'm into it because I'm also like, I'm into a placebo effect. I also love science. Like give me any and all of it, right? Because like the ultimate goal is to feel better. And so if I feel better, I feel better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was so good because you're just hilarious. That's curious. And the kind of like ironic thing is on like Monday or Tuesday this week, I decided to like Google more about OP babies, sunny side up, occipital posterior.
Oh, yeah.
Like we had. And one of them was like, you're more likely to hemorrhage. And I was like, interesting. And then hearing you talk about it, that happened.
Yeah. And you're more likely to tear. I don't know if you had an extensive tearing with that one.
Degree. But like
second degree.
I didn't feel anything. I didn't feel like, they were like all the way to my asshole because I was only second degree. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's great about a second degree is it does not involve your asshole.
Yeah.
Third degree, you start including. You're like, it's like, you're flirting.
Yeah.
It's like heavy flirting.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, yeah, fourth degree is.
It's all the way there.
You're all the way. You nailed it.
You're in just tip zone.
You're basically engaged, married. It's all, you're all in. You're all in. Like, don't they say that on like The Bachelor and The Bachelorette? Like, no, like I am all in. If they don't, someone has, or they should. I am not here to make friends. I am all in. Yeah, I mean, something else that was amazing was like I started talking about it, and then it turns out like I know a bunch of women who had a fourth degree tear, and then they were like to reassure me, which was so kind, because I also this also showed me like there's just not a lot of data around insert women's health concern. Like there just isn't. They don't care about us. And at this point with the way things are going, it's like clearly the government hates us. But like I was like, what does this mean for the rest of my life? What does this mean when I go through menopause and my hormones change again and I lose muscle tone, because that's what happens, right? What happens? I wanted to have 2 kids. Like, do I not get to do that? Like, how will I even carry a pregnancy if downstairs is so compromised? Like, and that's where then I'm also like, no, I understand how muscles work. Like, they're resilient, but like, I can't. But at the same time, these friends who'd had it were like, the second baby is so much easier. You won't even tear, or it'll be like a first degree. And I was like, but I know how muscles work. Like if you tear the same muscle repeatedly, you're screwed.
Yeah.
Like, and that extensively. And then it's like, some data is like, if the chances of tearing like that are like nothing. And then others are like, if you've torn that bad, you're almost definitely going to do it again. And I'm like, Which one?
God.
And then coming to like dealing with or thinking about the like I really fully believe like there's no one right way to have a baby.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like whether that's out of your vagina, out of your belly, through a surrogate, adopting, whatever, there is no one right way, right? There just isn't. And we're really lucky that we have these options. And I realized in that, like, because this was also, I'm like, I'm probably still like 2 weeks postpartum. And I'm like, I'm not going to be able to have another baby. Like, I don't want one right now, but also I want to be able to I want 2 kids. Like, what are we going to do? Even though like at that stage, like I didn't need to have the answer, right? Like that was not the time. But then being faced with how like, I do not think that there's a right way to have a baby, but yet sort of unraveling or like unearthing this sort of internalized conditioning and belief that like, well, I have to have another successful vaginal birth to heal, to prove what?
Yeah.
And then I was like, where is this coming from? Like, I don't think this. Why is this happening? Like, I'm clearly going to have a C-section next time. Also, my doctor said you should probably have a C-section. And it was this whole thing. And I was like, why do I believe this? Like, what's going on? And again, like, I'm in this position where I'm so educated on this. I'm so informed. And if this is what I'm feeling, and like I have access, I can go to PT, I can go to the doctor. Anyone can tear their butthole. Like, what about the women who tear their buttholes and have to go back to work a week later or whatever? Like,
Yeah.
How is that real? Again, this goes back to my contractions. Like, how is this? This is the plan?
Yeah.
Who did this?
Yeah.
How have we not?
It's just messed up with how pregnancy and birth is just such like well, every woman does it. So it's just like, just do it, get on with your life. And it's just how it is. But
Yeah.
it's like, this was huge. Something
Huge.
that we went through.
Uh-huh.
Huge.
And you don't realize it until after you have the baby. But it's also like just funny because you're like, I think you're like conditioned to only know that babies can only come out of vaginas. And like you're a failure if it comes out any other way beside your vagina. And so like, you know, like women have like these fears of C-sections. Even me, I have a fear of C-section. And I was like so against it for my first son. And now I'm pregnant again. And I'm like, if it happens, it happens. Like, where was this the first time around? I don't know.
Yeah. It's all of this. We get this messaging explicitly, but also implicitly. Like it is insidious. It's everywhere. It's from the beginning. It's deep and it's got to go. Like it doesn't serve anyone. And I mean, this conversation is the exact same conversation about how you feed your baby. Like,
yeah, that's going through my head. Like,
just feed the baby. Feed the baby. I want to feed the baby.
Yeah, like doctors are probably formula fed. Like,
and why do I feel so bad? Why do I feel so guilty?
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's like,
and even like when whatever choice you make, it's just like, we can't fucking win.
no.
Whatever choice you make, you can't win. And again, like, how is that the given? And like you had said, like this everybody does it. So like, we are conditioned to tolerate. And it's like, I know, I don't know the original source of this, but like, Sashir Zamata recently in a stand-up set talked about how like there's data now saying that like what our menstrual cramps, right? Not a contraction, which we also suffer through, or waves that we breathe through and all of that. I was trying to make a joke, not make a judgment on how people do labor, but that our menstrual cramps, what we feel, that's what men's heart attacks feel like. And that blows my mind because you see, I mean, thankfully, I've never seen someone in real life have a heart attack. I think I'd prefer to keep it that way, but I've seen it on TV and in movies, and it's very dramatic, and it's a really big deal. And when I get my period, again, I'm going to hide a tampon up my sleeve, not there.
Yeah.
It's not wear white pants and just carry on. And it's like, I'm having a heart attack in my uterus. Like, what the fuck?
It's like that movie, not Friends with Benefits, No Strings Attached with Ashton Kutcher. And he comes over and brings a playlist, and she's like, "It's a crime scene in my pants." Yeah, it is.
It is especially that first day, second day.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we should we're having heart attacks.
Yeah.
Not in our hearts. We need medical leave, which actually there are companies. Is that here in the States or was that somewhere else?
In the States.
I think it's Norway. It's Scandinavia.
Yeah, it's Norway. You're right.
Norway.
It's Norway.
Or Denmark.
Got their shit together.
Because they know what's up. That women get 3 days a month of menstrual leave if they need it. And it's God, just thank you for just acknowledging that this happens.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, and everyone's birth story and birth experience is different and unique. You could talk to another mom who has the same medical record as I do, the same experience, and it'll be completely different.
Mm-hmm.
But clearly no one who's actually had a baby is 6 weeks should be standard leave. No one.
You're still crying at 6 weeks. You're still changing your pad at 6 weeks.
You're still changing your pad. You're still waking up soaked in sweat because you're having hot flashes because the hormonal changes you're going through are basically menopause. And it's also if you just look at physiologically what's happening, even just in our brains at that point, we should not have any additional responsibilities.
I shouldn't even be driving. Honestly.
No heavy machinery.
You're living your life in 2-hour increments.
Yeah. And your brain has rewired to literally zoom in on that baby and hear nothing else. Our brain is that rewiring in our brain to be focused on the baby is literally it's the lizard brain caveman part of us that keeps human beings here, keeps us happening.
Yeah, that's the instinct, is keep your baby alive.
Yeah.
It's not I have motherly instincts to I don't know, change a diaper.
Yeah.
It's just know how to keep the baby from crying because the wolf's gonna come eat it or something.
Yeah. And also it's just the answer is always to smell my skin or smell my boobs.
Yeah.
That's what the solution is. Because this baby just got here, knows nothing except me.
Yeah.
No, it can barely see. And it's where am I? What's happening? Oh, I know that smell.
No. That's a smell I've been living in for the past 5 months. And after 6 weeks, you kind of hit a plateau where you're oh, okay, I feel I got this. And then month 4 and you're oh wait, my hair's falling out. Wait, I hated that part. That's the part I'm not looking forward to again. I don't want all my hair to fall out again.
Oh, that it's so much hair.
So much.
Mm-hmm. And again, it's what I've been telling people is to expect in one shower, like when you put your fingers through your hair, that the amount that comes out is like the amount that when you clean your brush, which I don't know, I don't do that often. It's like when I do, there's like a lot of hair in it.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, but it's like that amount every shower.
Yeah.
Just constantly.
See hair. So luscious.
I don't, well, because that's because during pregnancy, your hair doesn't fall out.
Mm-hmm.
So then it's just all the hair that would have fallen out, just all happening at once. Being a woman is so cool.
Is it? I've had a rough time.
I know. The thing that also like blows my mind, and you can probably speak to this even more, is that like I do want to have another one.
Yeah.
But, like, why? I mean, I know why, but also like, why? Like, I know what happens.
Just get that scheduled C-section on the books, honey.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. 100%. I remember asking my husband, like, what would you like? Would it be okay? Like, how, like, we're having a baby. Like, do you have any feelings? Like, if next time, like, I want to schedule the C-section, he was like, he's the best. He was like, it's your body. So, like, whatever you want. I was like, okay, I think that, like, just like for my anxiety, like, I think that really, and like for my butthole and my vagina, like my like my future, I think that that's the best option. And he was like, I like that. And I was like, really? He's like, I did not like last time. He was like, and he's like, I can't imagine with that being our experience, sitting here waiting for you to go in labor. Waiting for this to happen, waiting for you to start having contractions, waiting for, like, he's like, I don't know, how would we? And I was like, that's what I was thinking. Like, I really can't, because of our specific experience, where I can also totally see if you had not that experience, you could be like, this is exciting. We don't know. It's going to be a surprise. And then it's going to happen, like it's, but like in my case, like, I don't know that there's a strong enough sedative that would make that work out.
Yeah.
And now my fear is that I'm like going to schedule that C-section, and then I'm going to be like Seth Meyers' wife, and I'm going to be like, okay, it's time to go to the hospital. And then we're going to be on our way. And then I'm going to have the baby in my pants, like right into my pants. Like, and I'm just going to be like, no, like that exit is closed. Don't.
I love that story.
I'll be like giving birth, but like it'll be like that scene in Bridesmaids where she's in the wedding gown crossing the street, like, it's happening.
Make sure you actually like wear a wedding dress to the hospital.
Like someone film this for Instagram.
I love that.
Oh God. Oh. So yeah, I mean, that's my birth story. My recto-vaginal birth.
Yeah.
Am I the first recto-vaginal birth that you've had on the show?
100%.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God, what an honor. What a responsibility. Oh my God, I hope I did.
You limped it up.
If I did it justice. What is it in that sentence? I don't know.
Yeah, the butt, the bird.
Yeah, the butt, the story, the whole story.
I don't know how we're gonna name this one.
I know.
The recto-vaginal princess.
Can I be a queen?
Yeah. I don't know why I said
monarch. Recto-vaginal monarch. Yeah. No, it's funny because also like being a dancer, being in Pilates, like I've practiced yoga forever, like doing all of that. so many people asked me if I was going to have a home birth or like, go sort of that route. And I knew that I didn't want to do that I wanted to be in a hospital. And then like I ended up with the story I had. It's not what people expect. And I think what they also don't expect is that I'm going to actually tell them.
Yeah.
Like people are like, oh, I pushed for like an hour and then it, whatever. And I'm like, okay, so actually there were people on top of me shoving down, and then my entire undercarriage exploded. Like, yeah. And then when I woke up, I was like, why are you poking my head on? And I threw up again. And then like, they were like, wait, what? And I'm like, no, that's what happened. And yet I want to do this again. But again, different. It's going to be different. It's going to be different next time.
Good. Yeah.
It's going to be so different. It's going to be a whole different experience.
Yeah.
The second one's different.
Yeah. This is so wildly different than like our last podcast that we just did. And so I'm like feeling like re-energized from you because you're just hilarious and you need like
thank you.
I want to like come to your improv.
Yeah.
Like also your story is like a holy shit one.
It's big.
Yeah, it is. I don't think I've ever met anyone that has a rectovaginal birth story because I didn't have one. Therefore, I probably would have found moms that had one if I had one, kind of like you said.
Yeah.
But it's funny how like everyone comes here so differently. Like you've come here with humor and it's like fun to like talk about these things. But then like the last one, we were both crying. So it's just
yeah. I think that in creating postpartum, in like working on like my show, and I wrote a book called Unstuck, From Understudy to the Study of Your Undercarriage. And in all of the content that I've created, I have really done a lot of the processing that I don't break down about it. But that I will say, like, again, my son's going to be 3 in October, and that's recent. And it's sort of been like, it's been like, as cliched, like an onion, like different layers kind of open over time, because like when something traumatic happens, which like birth is a trauma, like physically, but also like spiritually, energetically, like this breaks you open. Yeah. Unlike anything else. Like it's a really unique and like tectonic shift. You can't handle that all at once. Like your brain will explode. So it's like different pieces. Like it wasn't until, I guess that was last summer, that I really realized like the people on top of me had been so, like I'd been holding on to that, But that's why I think it's so important, like having a space like this where we get to tell our birth stories and share them and hear them, because it helps all of us process and move through whatever it is you need to move through now. And I think the like really super incredible thing about motherhood, but it also is like, it's relentless in so many ways, is that like, I don't think that sort of unraveling and peeling open ever stops. Yeah. Like even when your kids are adults and like you're a grandparent, like and you could look at that in so many ways and be like, again, why do I want this? Yeah. Tired just hearing about that, but also like what a cool adventure to like learn about yourself and learn about others in that way, Yeah.
I love that. I totally agree. I feel like this past year I've been learning about myself in like more ways than I ever thought I could. And I'm happy about that. Like, let's
Yeah.
change. Let's become cooler.
Yeah. And like, let's evolve.
Yeah.
How boring is staying the same?
Amen. I remember like being told that like I changed after high school. I'm like, well, no shit. I went away to college.
It's like that cartoon that goes around that it's like a caterpillar and the butterfly, and the caterpillar's like, you changed, and the butterfly's like, we're supposed to.
Yeah.
Like, we are.
Yeah.
And I think it's so tempting to like at each stage, or like, I mean, I think it's sort of constant, but then like something big happens, right? And then like you like adjust, and then something big happens. And I think it's so natural to want to just be like, okay, I did it. I'm here. This is it. Like, we search for that stability, but that's just for our own comfort, because really everything is constantly changing.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, again, that could be, listen, sometimes I find that really freaking annoying. And then other times it's like, that's the fun, And again, I mean, bringing it back to improv, which I also didn't think this episode was going to be about, but it's being in the moment. Yes. Okay. This is now the reality. So what if this, then what? Yes, this is the reality. And here's how I'm going to handle it. I'm going to play to the top of my intelligence. I'm going to make statements and not ask questions. That's a good tip for toddlers. Not, do you want to go to bed? It's bedtime. Do you want to walk to your room, or should I carry you? Look at you. Now you get to make a decision. You're so autonomous. It's bedtime. Like, joke's on you, kid.
Yeah. What book do you want to read? Okay.
Yeah. Do you want to read this book or this? Oh my God. You want to read a different book? Great idea.
Yep.
Do you want to read it on the chair or the floor?
Everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of going back to that birth trauma you said. So I work like for a mental health practice in St. Louis. And so like I'll have people reach out to me and be like, I have this going on, like anxiety, depression, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And last week a woman was like, I have birth trauma. To give you a sense though, my youngest is like 3, almost 4. And I have not worked through it. And I'm like, great. I'm glad that you're here. Like, let's get you started. So I just think, and especially like in motherhood, you're like just trying to survive. So there is also like no time for you to even understand it or make sense of it, because you're so consumed by somebody else.
And that, I'm glad you said that, because it is true. And I think also just even giving the words, like I had birth trauma, like I am a trauma survivor, and I have to change practitioners because my OB moved. Otherwise I would see her again. But I plan to have an explicit conversation about that and be like, so here's the deal. Also, like, I have PTSD. I experienced birth trauma. Like, I'm going to need that approach in the OR and at every appointment. And I said this to a PT. I was like, I'm going to make jokes. I'm going to make it seem like I'm totally fine. And that is how you know I'm not fine. So do not let me try to take care of you during our session. I'm going to do it. I'm going to try not to. I'm going to do it. I need you to take care of me. Mm-hmm. And that is what I need. And my PT is amazing. And she was like, got it. And I was like, great.
You've already started that conversation of like being an advocate for yourself though. You know what you're coming to your next OB appointment with, or, if you decide to have another, what.
And that's in the work that I do. I really believe that, and especially after you've had a baby, but in any type of trauma, like connecting to your pelvic floor, your actual physical anatomy that we are taught to be disgusted by, ashamed of, keep secret, all of these things, right? But that also determine our value and our worth and our desirability in every facet of life. That if we actually become knowledgeable and educated and comfortable with it and take ownership of our bodies, that's what's going to enable us to find our voice to self-advocate. And through doing that, we'll be able to create change. But if we continue to stay in this place of, it's kind of ignorance about our own body, like even knowing your menstrual cycle, which I guess, doesn't apply if you're on birth control. And I'm not saying go off birth control, but like knowing your rhythm, like we're not supposed to do that. Like we don't, but like we have one. It's called the infradian rhythm and it's real and it's a thing. And then you get your period. It feels like a heart attack, but don't tell anybody. Like if we actually own this all together, right, and find a voice for that, we really can change the world.
I just want to clip what you said and like have it in my mind forever. That was beautiful.
Thank you. That is my mission.
Yeah. I love it. I'm on board.
Let's go. Set the world on fire.
Yeah. This was awesome. It was so good.
Oh my God. We've been talking for so long. I could talk to you forever.
I know. I could talk to you forever. Whoa, it has amazing. And like, just like that last clip, I just want to like say that. I think I'm going to do something with that if that's okay with you.
Oh my God. I would love it.
Yeah.
Tag me or send it to me. I'll share it too. Tag me. We'll just put it everywhere. Tell the world. The people need to know. It's true.
Good. Well, perfect. So if you want to find Alissa on Instagram, you can find her at Alissa Alter, ALISSA ALTER. Amy Poehler Vaginas right there in front of you.
That's me. That's me. And feel free to check out my show also called Alter Your Life and Myth of Motherhood. And for anything else, DM me. I love hearing from you.
Awesome. Thank you. And we'll link everything in our show notes as well.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
it'll be easy to find.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me and being so open and receptive to hearing all about my butthole.
I love it. Thank you so much again. It was such a pleasure.
Thank you.